When it comes to dedication and commitment to her craft, Caitríona Balfe, star of the legendary series Outlander, is often cited as a role model. However, in a recent emotional and surprising interview, the Irish actress shocked both fans and the media when she shared about the extremely difficult time working while pregnant, especially the behind-the-scenes truth with her longtime co-star Sam Heughan. "I thought I couldn't continue filming." In an exclusive interview with The Hollywood Times, Caitríona opened up in a rare way about her journey of carrying her first son while playing Claire Fraser, a role that was emotionally, physically, and painful. "There were days when I was shooting from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., standing in the middle of the forest, in the wet and freezing cold. I was 5 months pregnant, and one morning I almost collapsed." What surprised fans was not only her resilience, but also who was there for her in her weakest moment. Surprise! It was Sam Heughan. In a speech that left the audience speechless, Caitríona revealed, "Sam was there, right when I thought I was going to give up everything. Not the production team, not the nurses or the assistants, Sam himself. He didn't say much, he just stood behind me, handed me a hot water bottle and whispered, 'No one can do this better than you.' When I turned to look at him, I was crying." She paused for a moment before continuing, "It wasn't just my colleagues. He was the only person who understood what I was going through." Working while pregnant, more than just a physical challenge. Being pregnant and playing Claire, a character who regularly goes through intense scenes, including childbirth, fighting, being tortured or losing a loved one, is a huge challenge for any actress. Caitríona recounted that there were scenes that had to be reshot more than 10 times, while her stomach was churning with hunger or fatigue. The nausea would come at any time. "One day, after filming a heavy scene, I walked into the makeup room and threw up right at the door. But I didn't want anyone to feel bad about me." She said that if it weren't for Sam Heughan, who was always quietly preparing warm blankets, snacks, ginger water, etc. behind the scenes, she wouldn't have been able to complete the season. A bond beyond the screen. Fans have long loved Sam and Caitríona's chemistry on screen. However, the actress's words this time took that relationship to a much deeper and more real level. "He was the only one who didn't treat me like a pregnant woman who needed protection. He treated me like a normal actor, but always put my safety and comfort first." Caitríona added that Sam even learned to detect early signs of fatigue in her just by looking at her. "I just had to give him a glance. If I pursed my left lip, he knew I was exhausted. If I squinted, he offered me a chair. He knew, like we'd been acting together our whole lives." The most shocking moment. "I thought about quitting." When asked what was the most difficult moment of her pregnancy on set, Caitríona admitted, "I thought about quitting the season. When I was 7 months pregnant, my body couldn't keep up with the pace of filming anymore. I felt like I was slowing down the whole crew. But it was Sam who called me into the break room and said, 'If you leave, I won't film anymore.'" That moment made Caitríona burst into tears. "I don't know how to describe it, but for the first time in my life, I understood the true meaning of the word teammate." Outlander and the most honest moment. It's worth noting that many of the scenes in that season, where Claire shows weakness, pain, or fear of motherhood, were filmed while Caitríona was pregnant in real life. That's why the emotions in her eyes, voice, and expressions were so real that they moved the audience to tears. "It's not acting anymore, it's me. It's the anxiety, the exhaustion, everything a woman has to go through when she becomes a mother, but she's not allowed to stop. The Iron Lady, and the man who always stays behind." The story Caitríona Balfe tells is not just the story of an excellent actress. It's the story of a strong, capable woman, and a man who doesn't need the spotlight but always stands behind her, quiet, steadfast, and full of empathy. At the end of the interview, she simply said, "I owe him, not for his help, but for believing that I could continue, even when I wasn't sure." And now, when viewers watch those episodes again, they don't just see Claire, they feel the true heart of Caitríona Balfe. And behind her, there's always Sam. The silent sacrifice behind the camera. Behind the brilliant scenes on screen, few people know that Caitríona had to face a constant, simmering worry. The fear of affecting her unborn child due to her harsh work schedule. The actress recounted a memorable memory while filming a chase scene. I remember that day there was a scene where we were running away from the British soldiers. The mud was up to our knees. Every time I walked, I felt the baby in my belly moving. I had to stop in the middle of the scene, sit down under a tree and gasp for breath. Everyone thought I was fainting, but only one person understood, Sam. Sam was not filming the scene at the time, but was still present on set. He walked by, saw me sitting there holding my stomach. Without saying anything, he just took off his jacket, wrapped it around my shoulders, and sat down next to me. Then Sam turned to the set assistant and said, "Cancel the next scene. She needs a break." He didn't have to, but he did. Caitríona admits that in the world of cinema, where time is money and everything runs like a machine, it's extremely rare for a male actor to speak up for a female colleague, especially one who is pregnant. He's not just a co-star, he's a companion, a kind of life partner on screen, and even more. When asked if she shared those pressures with the production team, Caitríona shook her head. "I didn't want to be seen as weak or a burden. But Sam didn't leave me alone. He taught me that asking for help isn't a failure, it's part of being brave." Sam Heughan responded, "I just did what any decent man would do." Soon after Caitríona's interview was published, Sam Heughan was asked about what she had shared. With his usual humility, the Scottish actor simply replied, "I don't think I did anything special." When you respect someone, and you see them fighting every day, you can't stand by and watch. He smiled as he added, "Caitríona is a warrior. I was just the guy who held her blanket during her breaks." The response sent social media into a frenzy. Fans were not only touched but also admired the way the two shared profound things for each other without saying too much. One fan commented, "A friendship like that is worth more than any title." Sam and Caitríona are a living testament to the compassion between two artists. Backstage, where the friendship is most clearly demonstrated. Behind-the-scenes photos from that season, where Caitríona was pregnant, are now being widely shared by fans. Some photos in particular brought tears to the eyes of the audience. Sam gently supporting Caitríona's back as she walked down the hillside. The two sat on the steps, their heads leaning against each other, their eyes closed in a brief moment of rest. A famous behind-the-scenes photo captured Sam placing his hand on Caitríona's belly, smiling warmly. A moment that was not scripted, not requested by the director, just real. Scenes no one knows. The director of Outlander that season shared an interesting behind-the-scenes secret. There was a scene where Claire was kidnapped. During the shoot, Caitríona had a terrible cramp. "We were about to call an ambulance when Sam came over, crouched down next to her and said, 'Take it easy. Just breathe with me,' and he guided her out of the pain by counting her breaths. It wasn't in the script, but I kept it, and put it in the scene. It was so real that no actor could do it. After all, being a mother, being an artist, and not alone, Caitríona Balfe eventually gave birth to a healthy son, and just 3 months later, she returned to the set with a burning passion. But this time, everyone could see a change. Her eyes not only exuded the strength of a veteran actress, but also the calm, gentleness of a mother. In a final interview about the season, she looked straight into the camera and said, "I will never forget that season. Not just because I did what I thought I couldn't do, but because I didn't do it alone." Caitríona Balfe's pregnancy and Sam Heughan's unconditional friendship are not only a heartwarming glimpse into the behind-the-scenes of Outlander, but also a testament to the humanity, empathy and beautiful friendships in the cutthroat entertainment industry. Together they overcame not only the tough scenes, but also the real-life challenges, and for that, they captured the hearts of audiences, not just because they were Jamie and Claire, but because they were Sam and Caitríona. Two beautiful souls who always stayed behind the spotlight.